a bit about you and your story with us. I just wanted to start off. Will you introduce yourself and where you're currently living and a bit about your personal story?
My name is Gabriella Pedrazzi. I live in Liechtenstein at the moment, which is the close to the east part of Switzerland. I live in a very, very rural area compared to where I lived before when I lived in Joburg. So I've really done a huge change from a big city to the countryside. And I'm saying literally we're living in the Alps. There's cows and goats and horses, and there's 35,000 inhabitants in Liechtenstein. So it's quite small. From the age I was from 21, I've lived abroad since I was 21, except 2 years, and I'm 36. So I kind of feel like I don't know if Sweden is my home anymore, but it will always be a base. I go back to Sweden in the summer. For me, it's very important for my kids. I have 2 sons. I want them to speak Swedish. We speak Swedish at home. I want them to have a good connection with the grandparents, and for me, Sweden is still very, very important. Yeah.
Cool. As you know, a large part of what we do at Translating Me is completing people's pasts, and so they can clarify kind of their future and their new personal brand. What we mean by personal branding is the things that make us who we are and unique. So do you have kind of any core values, or could you just describe kind of 3 words of what how others would describe you?
I think I would say honest, and especially to myself. And that's something that has changed since I moved abroad. I don't judge myself as harsh as I did before. And especially I remember when I moved down to South Africa, I was pregnant. I left my job that I loved in Sweden, and I moved to Johannesburg, which I was actually quite scared of. And I had all this pressure on to find a job, to make a career, make everything work. And I didn't give myself a lot of time to reflect or actually think about what a huge step I'd done. That I was actually giving birth to my first child in another country. So looking back, I think I was pretty amazing, but I was very hard to myself. And today, I feel that I give myself much more slack in that area. I'm kinder to myself and more honest. It's okay. You don't have to be a super mom, a super wife, and a super expat. If you have the possibility not to work for a while, especially if you move with kids, I would definitely recommend that. Today, now I'm giving a little tip or advice. Today, I would say if you move to a new country and you have a family, you're moving with your kids, give yourself at least 6 months before you think about anything else than, setting up your family, trying to, understand the country, the area, where you find what, the schools, everything. At least 6 months. I would say a year. Because you have to build something and your family has to be happy. And if you are constantly judging yourself and saying, okay, I'm not working, I'm not good enough, I'm not, doing something, I'm not moving forward. If you're constantly saying that, then you're going to have a very, very tough time. And that's something I learned because I did that mistake.
Yeah, I did too. I think for me, I definitely hear you. And we were only originally going to be here for 2 years. So I kind of just thought, I don't have long. I need to use all my experience from the UK, and I need to get involved in as much of that here as possible because I've got so much to give, rather than actually, as you say, just adjusting and watching and learning and taking it all in first, and then
Yeah.
you can better off see where or how you might want to do things. But yeah,
Yeah.
completely with
I
you.
think maybe a little bit with age, and also if you don't have kids, you kind of go much more like, oh,
Yeah.
fifth gear. I have to run, I have to jump, I have to show everybody that I can do this and I can do it brilliantly. And the older you get, or the more like you get to know yourself, you accept that you don't have to run the fastest and jump the highest, and you're actually doing a pretty awesome job with your family. Um, and if I would say work wise, uh, it depends. You're in different situations. Sometimes you have to work if your financial situation is as is. But if you don't, if you're not forced to work, and you still want to work, I would advise you to really grab that adventure and really try something that you dreamt of doing, and really try things. And I tried so many things before I and failed completely before I found what I wanted to do, and that's my second advice. That is, try things. And I was so afraid of failing that I, in the beginning, didn't try. Because I'm like, like, oh, that's not really me, but I would love to try. And then I just got over it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make web pages. I'm going to build web pages. I'm going to learn how to do that. And I was like, okay, I did some and it was not that fun. Okay, I'll do something else. I'm going to be an interior decorator. And I did that. And it was really not my cup of tea. And I was like, okay, I have to do something else. And I think the process, when you try a lot of different things, if you have the possibility, and let yourself really, challenge yourself. Um, the idea that's going to work for you is going to come to you. And that was the bracelet. It actually came to me. I did not seek that one. I did not say, I want to make jewelry. I did not say it. It just like, I don't know what happened. I think I was driving by and I saw this shop and I was like, oh, that's a cool shop. And I went in and I got completely like, oh, I have to buy everything. And it just, it just came to me. So I think try as much as you can if you have the possibility. Fail as much as you can because otherwise you haven't tried. And you know, don't be scared of failing. And your idea will come. It will come eventually. And
You're incredibly focused now on Gabi on 12th, and it's been such an amazing success, particularly over the past 2 years. Um, and so, am I right in saying that that process that you've gone through has been really important to get you that focus? Because you have tried lots of other things. How do you know when to give up on the other things, or how did you know that this one
yeah,
was the one that you were going to go with?
that is so funny. Somebody told me, or I heard somewhere, that why do you try or work with something that you don't like? You're never gonna be the best at it, and you're never gonna have, that extra energy to walk the extra mile. And that is what I think I felt at all the other stuff. I didn't want to, do that extra hour in the evening because it was not that fun. But when I found the bracelets, I can spend hours and hours and hours. And I can still, I still love making bracelets. And now I can combine it with my love for photography. I do the photos, I do the fashion photos. I can combine it with, I love color and design. So for me, I'm really, Gabby on 12 is me. And, and, and I never get tired of it because it's just, it's a part of me. It feels like it's always been there, but I never saw it. And that's why I'm focused, because I really love it. And I feel extremely blessed that I've been allowed to do this, because I know a lot of people who don't have the possibility to, to do this. So I just, thank every day when I can work, and that gives me my focus. That gives me my energy.
And how on earth did you get started with it all? How do you? Yeah.
So I think Gabi on 12 has been. It's like Steve Jobs said: do what you want to do what you think it's interesting, and this will give you the points, and then eventually you're going to be able to draw a line between these points, and it will be clear, but you don't know it when you're actually in the process. So small points, you just try to feel in your heart what you feel is right and what you want to do, and then these points will just make a beautiful picture in the end. And I so badly felt this urge to help women. So I think that has always been in my mind. And then this creativity has always been there for me. But you end up in the working life, and it gets less important, and you push it away, and suddenly you're just sitting doing Word and Excel. Merging these two, helping women and my creativity, seemed so obvious. It was those two dots, and I just draw the line, and I'm still doing it. I'm still making dots. I'm still doing new things. I'm still, oh, I want to do this. I'm just going to do it, and then we'll see if I can draw a line. If that dot will still be there.
And talk to us about kind of your average week now. Time management is so hard, and
Yeah.
particularly when you have guests to come stay, or
Yeah.
you go away, or like the global lifestyle that we're all leading.
Yeah.
Throw in motherhood on top of that, and then throw in creating your own business.
And
How
yeah.
do you manage? How do you structure your week? Do you have routines?
Yeah.
Tell us.
I think the most important thing I did was I sat my husband down and I said, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to be in this together. And you have to see this as my job and, accept that. And he was actually the one who said it to me. He sat me down and said, this is your job now. You have to take this seriously. So we said January 2016, I will find an office outside of home, and I will work there from 9 after dropping off my son, from 9 to 3. And I did that for 6 months. To have your plan, like, okay, from January to April, I'm gonna, try to find somebody who wants to make the bracelets in South Africa. That's what I'm gonna work with, as well as my webpage, my logo, everything that is marketing. And then I'll do the production, focus on the production during the summer, making the quality, getting everything, online. And then from September to December, I'm going to see what other sale channels I can find, if there's, other online places than myself, like, Etsy, or even the stores, local stores here in Liechtenstein or in Sweden, and give yourself time. Don't sit at home where, the laundry is right there, the dirty dishes is right there. If you can't rent an office, go to the library or sit at a restaurant, whatever. Don't sit at home. At least the first 6 months, it won't work.
To close, how do you get your inspiration? How do you stay inspired? Do you have any quotes or podcasts or books or?
So normally I get inspired by people, surroundings, the culture. Just in Johannesburg, if I needed inspiration, I just went downtown. And unfortunately, I don't have that here at all. There's not even a coffee shop in my village. There is nothing in fashion inspiration or whatever. So I still get my inspiration a lot from fashion, but I have to do it more online. So I follow a lot of, Instagram, mostly street style accounts, which I love. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and what I realized is I actually like to listen to Swedish podcasts. It's easier for me to just be able to do something at the same time when I listen in my mother tongue. We travel quite a lot, so we go to Italy, or I try to take a day in Zurich, and just have that coffee, sit down, looking at people, going to shops. It just makes my day, and I still need it, even though I can't have it here. I have to have it in some way, so I just have to work a little bit harder for it.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool. And if you, what would be your kind of top 5 tips for people? You've shared with us some of them, but for somebody that maybe feels trapped or lonely or isolated since moving abroad, how do you get from that feeling where you first moved to South Africa and you felt you had so much to prove to where you are now?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I know it's hard because in the beginning, yes, you can be a little bit depressed, even if because maybe you didn't want to leave your other place. But I would say get to know the place, like put really a lot of effort at checking out the restaurants, checking out the people, the shops if there are any. Here it's more checking out the different hikes. That's what I'm doing here. Take the subway, try to understand how people live their everyday life. Be like a little bit of a detective. Have a goal every day. Today, I'm going to do, in South Africa, it was mostly today, I'm going to do something I'm really scared of. Like taking my car to Soweto. And I'm like, ah. So I challenged myself every day to do something I was a little bit scared of doing. But it doesn't have, you don't have to be scared. You can just challenge yourself and say, today I'm going to eat in a different lunch restaurant, or today I'm going to check out this area, or today I'm actually going to talk to a local. Just have those, like, every day a little challenge, not 10, one, and explore and try to talk to people. And I think if you move to Joburg, it is just the best city because everybody will talk to you and everybody will ask you where you come from, and they will be, they invite you for coffee. You're in the right city if you want to explore. And don't be afraid of going to Soweto with a car. It's not that big of a deal. So that's number one. Two is travel. If you don't have a lot of time where you're going to be, if you know you only have 2-3 years, try to travel as much as you can around the other countries, the neighboring countries. If you can, if you can take your kids with, that's awesome, because then you get a feeling of not just the country but actually the whole region. If you want to work but you're not allowed by work permits issues, etc., there's always pro bono work that you can do. There's always something you can do if you want to do it. Just don't be scared of, you can fail in that as well. That's fine. And if you do it for 2 months and you're like, was not my cup of tea, I don't want to work at an orphanage, or I don't want to do this, and you tried. And number 4, if you give yourself at least 6 months, I would say even up to a year, depending on how much time you have and if you move with your family, to just get to know the place and give yourself some slack. A positive thing with actually setting up a business abroad, and if you can throw yourself into something you've always dreamt of doing, nobody will judge you. There's nobody there to say, but you went to this university and you did this. Are you sure you want to make hats? Is that your thing? Make hats if that's what you want to do. Like, take this opportunity to try things and fail. That's succeed. So yeah.
Amazing.
my 5 advice.
Oh, thank you, Gabi, so much. You continue to be an inspiration to me. I love your bracelets and the fact that you set up a company in Joburg and you've moved it now to Switzerland is just remarkable. Your dedication, your passion, your jewelry's beautiful. So just thank you, and thank you for sharing all of those insider tips